Woohoo! And we're live. All right, welcome everyone. This is our first ever Meet the Apprentice interview. For those of you who are possibly wondering, I'm Tiff Gilleland. I'm a hero of the Arcanum, which means I get to work on social channels and that sort of stuff. I get to do what I really love doing, which is going around and finding stories from different apprentices and masters and doing all that sort of fun stuff. And I'm also an apprentice in Ron Clifford's cohort, which is really awesome. I'm here today with Wes Hardaker. Did I say that right? I should have checked that beforehand.
Yeah,
yep. Yep, I'm here with Wes, who's just made it to level 20 in Verena Patel's cohort. And I'm going to chat with him about his photography and his experience so far in the Arcanum. And he's going to share some images so we can see how his work has changed while he's been in the Arcanum. So first though, Wes, I'll hand it over to you. Tell me a bit about yourself. What do you like to shoot? How did you get started in photography? Just, yeah, go for it.
So I'm Wes Hardaker, and I have Captured on Earth Photography is the name of my company. On capturedonearth.com, and I actually am a third-generation photographer. I actually did a little bit of research before this, asking my dad about his past, and actually my grandfather and my uncle and my dad owned a photography business together, with shooting staff photography for the university and things like that. So I come from a long chain, it turns out. And my dad gave me my first film camera, black and white film camera, I think when I was 15, 16, somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact age. And it was a very manual camera, and I ran around, and I loved shooting, but I had a hard time at that age, you know, picking everything up. But I distinctly remember running around the desert once shooting a roadrunner, or trying to, and it was running away from me, and I was trying to concentrate on what's Sunny 16, and it was a challenge. So a few years later, I got my second film camera, which was a color one, and from that it just took off. I traveled quite a bit around the world. I lived in Switzerland for a year and shot 27 rolls of film, which was expensive then, in 1 year. And I've loved it ever since, and I really sort of enjoy the art form of it now. Many cameras after that at this point, but so now I shoot tons of stuff. I shoot everything. If it moves, I shoot it. If it doesn't move, I shoot it. I love landscapes. I'm a hiking and beach and rocks and mountain kind of person, but my other job sends me to a lot of cities. So I do a lot of travel photography and street scenes, and I've been getting more and more into street photography as I travel more. And then probably the thing that I'm most known for is my macro work, but again, I shoot everything. And I do lots and lots of very small objects, things that other people would step on. I'd like to lay down on the ground and shoot, so show them what they missed. You know, to be honest, my family has been incredibly supportive too, and my kids come up to me and hand me my camera and say, go outside and shoot something, or my daughter will tell me there's a beautiful sunset, and I don't have a choice. I have to go outside and shoot. And yeah. They're by far my biggest fans. My son comes in every morning and says, have you posted a picture yet? And he gets very upset if I haven't actually, you know, posted anything anywhere. He's also my personal assistant. He runs around and, you know, holds up diffusers for me and flashes. And when I was experimenting with flashes the other day, I told him I needed a model and put him on the couch, and he went off. And my daughter loves actually photography. She'll sit and lay on stuff and take pictures of really small stuff. It's a mini me, absolutely. So.
Wow, sounds awesome that you get to share that with your kids and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, what made you apply to the Arcanum?
You know, I saw the notes on various social media that it was going to happen, and the whole concept really intrigued me. When I was a kid, I had a blacksmith actually give me a couple of apprentice type lessons, and you know, left me alone to do my own thing, and came back and gave me pointers and tips. And you know, it was only a couple of days, but it stuck with me. And that whole apprentice master kind of relationship was something I've sort of been looking for ever since. And you know, I have a master's degree in electrical engineering, and that's nothing like, you know, I kept looking for this other mechanism to do artwork in, and it just sounded perfect, so I applied.
Awesome. And what was it like receiving the invite?
It was amazing. I was very nervous after I submitted my application. I sort of poured my heart and my soul into this application because I so wanted to do this, and I was worried. I was like, what was going to happen? And I was lucky enough to get invited extremely early on. And I think that pouring my heart and soul into it and letting people know my real passion behind this helped a lot. And I got the invite, and I was really worried going in because I didn't know who it was going to get and what it was going to look like. And I saw that my master was Verena Patel, who I've admired for a long time, along with a whole bunch of other photographers that shoot similar types of work. And I was just like, oh, perfect. Sign me up. I'm done. Great.
Yeah. Nothing like getting chosen by somebody that you've been following or that you know about and that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And so what were your expectations? Oh, well, you sort of already covered that a little bit, didn't you? You sort of said you weren't quite sure what to expect.
I really didn't know a huge amount what to expect. You're not given a whole lot of information. I'd seen the leveling guide, and it looked like a fun thing to do, to go out and do these exercises. And but I really had no clue what it was going to be like to interact with 20 other photographers plus your master and get cross feedback from them. And so going in, I really had no expectations that that I could think of. I was just like, oh, let's try it and see if it works. And I finally told myself, you know what, if I don't like it in a month, I can quit, right? There's, if it doesn't work for me, I could quit. So.
Yeah. But obviously you didn't quit because it's a number of months down the road.
No, it
Yeah,
took me a week to realize I was hooked.
A week. I think I was in on day one.
It's an amazing experience to interact with. My biggest fear was, well, what would it be like? Would it be competitive? Would you be in this environment with 20 other people that were trying to battle each other, or was it going to be a positive experience? And I couldn't be more pleased with the friends that I've met through this, and the constructive feedback that you get and the little funny things were amazing. And in fact, that sort of shut me down socially for a while. I used to post things daily to the social networks, and there was 2 or 3 months where people were going, why haven't you posted pictures lately? And I'm like, because everything's in critique right now, and you can't see it until it's done. I didn't want to post anything. And, people were starting to show me, here's how you can improve your picture. And I thought, oh, no, I have to wait and have everything looked at by other people.
Yeah.
I got very quiet for a while.
Yeah, I found myself actually, my own experience was that my cohort were giving me feedback, and that was more valuable to me than people just liking my stuff on social channels, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah. If you're ready, we might jump into the photo sharing part, if you're ready for that. Yeah?
Yep.
Just while you're getting that set up, I'll just explain to the people watching, and for anybody not in the Arcanum, that as part of your leveling, every 5 levels you get to sit down with your master, and your master critiques 5 images that you select with the help of your cohort and that kind of stuff. And so what Wes is going to show us, he's going to show us a couple of those images from sort of each of the levels that he's done, the 4 different critiques on his way to level 20, just so we can have a look at what he's, how his time in the Arcanum has affected his photography and his outlook and those kinds of things. So, yeah, I'll switch it over to Wes again.
Okay.
Yep.
So, in the first few levels, you submit pictures that you took previously before joining the Arcanum, and this was always one of my favorites. It's from Kyoto, Japan, and I could have spent all day walking around these arches. They were just mind-numbingly beautiful. They were just gorgeous, and this is one of my favorite images from it. I have a couple that are dear to my heart, but this one's so old. I actually wasn't shooting even in RAW at that time. This is actually a JPEG image, but even bringing it through the Arcanum, where I thought I'd pretty much nailed it, right? There was a few suggestions on things that I could improve, so I did. And even bringing really old stuff through was highly beneficial. And this is another image that I submitted for the initial critique set, and this one I found highly fascinating from an educational point of view, because again, I thought I loved this picture. It was one I've shown to a lot of people, and other people seem to like it. And Verena nicely pointed out a number of things about it that that I could improve upon. And I actually got the opportunity later to go back and try and fix some of the things like the dark shadows and things like that. And I went and tried to look for another pine cone that was exactly the same, and shoot it again and do it right, and take all the new things that I had learned. And unfortunately, I never found such another beautiful pine cone. I did recreate the scene, but it didn't turn out quite as well because it wasn't as beautiful as this pine cone, even though my son carefully went through every pine cone he could find underneath the pine tree. But
Oh, wow.
yeah, I still like that image, but it reminds me of how much how far I've come in such a short period of time, and how many new things I've learned. So.
Yep.
This image is of Lake Tahoe, and this was from my second set of images for level 9, and it really, to me, exemplifies how much between 5 and 9 especially, I really began to slow down and plan and study. And I'd never been up, I'd hiked this ridge for a gazillion times. I'd never done it at night, and I planned a time where I knew that the moon was going to be up, and off to the left I'd have moon shots and some other shots, but and I thought about it, and I planned it, and I was very careful. And even that, I took it and showed it to Verena, and she actually was the one that suggested the square crop. And you know what? It works. It works much better, and I'm happy with the picture. And but it was a very monumental step in slowing down,
Yep.
as was this one,
Yep.
because this image is in a meadow that I've often shot pictures in, and I always used to rush very fast and try and go shoot like every flower. And this one I spent a good hour shooting just this flower, or a couple in the near vicinity, and trying to get the right angle, and waiting for the sunlight to get in the right place, and kneeling in very cold water, and the timing and the planning and the slowing down and not trying to take in everything, but trying to do one thing right, was a big step for me.
Okay, yeah, wow. Yep. Yep.
This one was from my level 14 set, and this is an interesting one because I love this scene. I've been there many times in my life, and there was this beautiful storm behind this mountain, and I loved this mountain ridge, and I shot it, and I'm still not done processing this one because I had some difficulty with it, and the whole reason I took it to critique was to learn more. And I pointed out the problems that I had with it, and like getting the mask right on the trees. This is a 3 exposure blend that was done difficult, and there's various white balance differences in there, and it wasn't an easy image to process, and I'm still working on it. I have it printed on metal, very large, and it looks stunning. It's awesome, but then again, I know I'm going to still tinker with it over time, and that's okay. I've learned to appreciate the fact that you're never quite done. And that's not a bad thing. So.
Yep. Art is only abandoned, never finished, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. And I've enjoyed, after having gone through some of the learning exercises, I've really enjoyed going back to previous images that I haven't looked at in 4 or 5 years and going, you know what, now I can fix this. I knew I liked the image at the time, but I was never able to get it to where I wanted it. Now I can.
Yep.
So the new skills have been wonderful.
Oh, fantastic.
This little wonderful bird landed on this park bench next to me in London, in a park, and this nice old gentleman came by and said, "That's an English robin, and it was. I actually didn't know it was a robin. It doesn't look like the robins that live near me in the United States, but beautiful image, and I like the simplicity of this one, which is why I selected it for this evening, because the other thing that I've really learned is I've always tried to simplify my images, but I've done it even more since going to the Arcanum, so I've sort of taken another 3 or 4 steps down that road toward where I want to go. So. And then my final 2 images are from level 19, and these 2 in particular mean a lot to me because they really show the relationships that I've built. This one I took in Toronto, and I went and met up with Calvin, who is another member of our cohort, and Keith, and Calvin's on the next picture. And Keith spent a day, and we walked around Toronto, and we ended up the day taking sunset pictures of the city, and we just stopped wherever we felt like it, and we had a fantastic day, and I got to spend time with somebody that I'd never met before, and I met him through the Arcanum, and I now consider him a good friend, and I really wish I could go back to Toronto soon, because I'd love to see him again and spend another day walking around. It was a blast.
Yep.
Similarly, Calvin actually came out to, who's also in Verina's group along with Pamela, came out to California, and Pamela lives near me, and we spent the day on the beach, and we went and drove around, and we had a wonderful day shooting. Even though it was foggy and misty, we talked to each other, we compared techniques, and we spent an entire day just walking around shooting. And again, these are two other people that I really only know because of the Arcanum. I'd met Pamela once before that, but that was it. And now I've I consider both of them good friends, and we saw a brilliant sunset at the end of the day. It was absolutely stunning, and it was a day that I wouldn't have had if it hadn't been for the Arcanum. So,
yeah. Wow.
Really appreciate it.
Actually, some of the members of my cohort have met in real life, and they sort of said there was no awkwardness. It was like meeting an old friend for the first time or something. Yeah. Yeah.
And your Arcanum. The Arcanum's not even encouraging that or suggesting it. It was, people are deciding to do it on their own, volition. So.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think when you find somebody else that shares your love of photography, or, it just certainly can help to get together with them and go shooting and that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So, of your total experience, what are the key things that you've learned, or how has it affected your photography overall, do you think?
You want me to sum up 6 months of experience in 2 minutes? Right?
Just a quick soundbite, no problems. And by the way, we're recording. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been amazing. It's been truly, truly amazing in that our cohort is filled with people that their skills cross collaborate, and just the feedback that I get of interacting with them, as well as the encouragement, as well as the here's some things you could think about and work on, and then the direction from Verina herself overseeing everything has been stunning. And honestly, one of the things that I do in photography a lot is I go back a couple of years and I look and see, and I find the point in my history where I start going, ooh, I took that, because the picture is no longer up to my current level of quality. And the Arcanum shortened that time down to 3 to 6 months, where I have a hard time looking at stuff even fairly recent because of how much that I've learned. But the biggest things are learning that I've slowed down even more, and I'm simplifying even more, and I'm doing colors better and black and whites better, and it is hard to sum up because there's so many skill sets that I've learned, and it's not like my other ones were necessarily bad. It's just that I've doubled or tripled my skills, and that's what it's all about. So.
Yeah, for sure. I just remember you were telling me a little bit earlier that you were realizing when to give up on certain photos, like not necessarily go and shoot everything when you were shooting. Yeah, right? Yeah.
No, that's absolutely the case, and that I used to shoot too many of one scene, and I've become more selective in the field, but I've become more selective afterwards, where I'm willing to let a couple of photos not ever be processed, even though I like them. I know that there's other ones in the chain that are better, and I am actually comfortable letting those go, and that was a very, very, very hard mental step. I don't have to process every photo I take.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I totally understand that. This is kind of a pretty good place to sort of start the finishing up and the closing moments and whatnot. Tell us again, where can people find you to follow your work?
Searching for my name, Wes Hardaker, turns up pretty much, I'm on everything, but Google Plus and Twitter and Facebook, and you name it, 500px, I'm out there. But CapturedOnEarth.com has links on it to all of my work, as well as there's a recent album up on the right if you click on the title. That you can always follow my most recent work, but CapturedOnEarth.com is the best place to find me right now.
Okay, awesome. And do you have anything to say to anyone who's thinking about applying, or any tips for their application just before we finish?
Good question. So if you're thinking about applying, do. it's hard to describe the experience until, and it really doesn't matter what your level is. We've had, the people in our, that was one of my early questions is, am I going to be way low or way high in terms of skill? And you know what, it turns out that it's a little bit broader of a question than that. And there's lots of different people with different skills and they cross-collaborate. But really describe in great detail what you want, what you're looking for, and what your passion is about photography. And that's, the people that are trying to pick you for whether you're a good match for the entire cohort, they can't do that without information about you, and they can't do that without you explaining what you're good at, and maybe what your weak skills are, and then what you like to do. And that's how they're going to be able to find a good set of 20 people or whatever it will be.
That's some excellent tips there. Thanks very much, Wes.
You're very welcome.
And thanks very much for joining us. So for everybody watching, hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching. And yeah, hope you follow along and want to watch some future ones of these.